the last guy I was ever with, like years ago, I was with we were having sex and my dog came up and started licking his asshole.
Yeah, that's happened.
To you, it's happened?
Yeah.
Wait, it happened to you?
I've had an animal in that. Yeah, that I didn't know was around. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because I could see her hands. I could see her hands, and all of a sudden I felt something. I was like, what are you doing? I turned around, and there's just this fucking like a boxer action mix. I'm like, holy fuck.
Wait, so what happened? Did you move or did you keep going?
I stopped. It wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't. It was fucking weird.
All right.
Hello and welcome to Stand By with JJ and Francisco.
What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. And we have an amazing guest tonight.
We sure do.
Tonight, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Madison Sinclair with us,
Hey.
writer from the Tosh.0 and from the Alec Baldwin roast, and outstanding stand-up comedian. Thanks for coming in to hang out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. And we also are rep by the same manager.
Yes.
You brought it up right away.
She brought it up.
I literally said let's not, because we didn't know this. We've only just found out.
Wait, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
All right, so
That's it.
shout out to Justin at home. Look
He's the best. He's like my dad, I feel like.
Really?
I don't have. I feel like he's my surrogate dad.
All right.
I've put that on him. He didn't take that
okay.
role.
Dude,
Yeah.
were you about to say I don't have a dad?
I don't have a dad.
I don't have a dad. It's Justin. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's Justin's my
Oh,
dad.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's really gonna. He's glowing. He's glowing at home right now.
We're like, yeah, he's not that bad. He's good.
I mean, he's usually jolly and happy when he shows up at a gig, and he thinks everyth's amazing, which I guess is what you need
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's more like a stepdad.
from a manager. That's
You know,
what it is.
Where he's always trying to please me. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Come on, just ground me once in a while. You know what I mean?
That is how it works, isn't it? He's a jolly. He's trying to make everything happy, and you're like, this isn't. You're not my real dad. And then you just storm away. And so it's we like to think it's about travel. We've got a plane in our logo. That's how.
Standby when you're
and-
traveling. It's all about travel, but obviously we don't
Yeah, it's just an
we don't
excuse.
have to talk about travel.
But am I correct
But we'll ask
that
you
you are from Florida, but you were just on the road? You're just back from the road, correct?
Yes. I went back to Florida for a couple weeks. I also went to New York. First time in New York since COVID. And I feel like the shows are so much more fun there than they are here.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
also cool. You can do like 4 or 5 shows in a night.
It's much easier. Here, like if you do 2, you're like, wow, you did 2.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Four,
traffic.
That's
Yeah.
great. You were in New York when? Like for COVID, you said, or
But it was my first time since COVID. So I was
Okay.
last week and a half. I feel like I've lost track of time. Week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was just there too for the New York Comedy Festival.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, New York is great. Just performing, it's just so much. I always get better. I feel like every time I go there.
Oh, dude.
Right? Like,
I had a
feel
lot of
like-
half-cooked bits, and like now they're fully flushed out.
Yeah,
and within one
perfect.
night, it went from like
Yeah.
an unfinished bit to like a finished bit. And
Mhm.
I'm like, this would be so great if I lived here and
Oh,
could do this
man,
all the
it would
time.
be- and just even like the walking and the taking the subway, just
Yeah.
you're working your bits as you're like going through the other set, you know what I mean, or the other show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here's like, you're driving, and, you don't have that kind of like continuous
Mental preparation
Mhm, yeah.
time. It sounds like a lot like London, like when I lived in London, which is I didn't move. I chose Los Angeles over New York when I moved to America. But yes, in London, that was the great thing: getting on the underground, running through your notes, having just finished a gig and
Yeah.
a few stops. It's perfect. I was in New York State last week too. Were we all in New York
Oh,
State?
we might have
were
been.
all, we were all in the.
But you were in the city.
I was in
You were
Buffalo.
upstate.
I was in Buffalo. It's
You were
not
close to your country.
I was very close. We went to Niagara Falls
Cool.
to kill the day in Buffalo, and then the show at night, which it was good. Niagara Falls, the American side of Niagara Falls is shit.
It's the worst one. I was gonna say it's
Oh,
crazy
really?
over
Why
in Canada.
is it?
Yeah.
haven't
I had
been
only
to-
heard this because
Yeah.
growing up in Canada, we hear that we have the better side.
And what is better about it?
Well, it's
More
a better
water?
view. You can actually see the Horseshoe Falls. You know, the big scenic Falls is more visible from the Canadian side, whereas the American. My friend put it really well. Steve Wrigley, a New Zealand comic, he said it's like the American side is like you get to look at the most beautiful woman in the world, but it's the back of her head. You know it's her. You're like, oh yeah, I see her. But the Canadians on the other side are going, oh, you don't see her the way we see her. We see all of the beautiful woman, and I think that is a good analogy because you can't you can't lean in too far, you can't lean in far enough to see the Horseshoe Falls properly. So,
have you been there?
In the Canada side. I was like a kid though, so I barely remember it.
Right.
Oh, you got the better side. And it's all kitschy. Do you remember kitschy things from it?
No, I remember vaguely being on a boat and getting wet, and that's it.
Right. That's the Maid of the Mist.
The only thing I've been to Buffalo and I did go into the U.S. side, but more of my memories of the Niagara Falls is from the movie Superman, like the 1970s one, where the guy the kid falls, and right.
Well, you'll have to remind me of the scene. Go ahead, walk us through the scene.
It's the only scene when they're in Niagara Falls and some kid is like going like, he falls, and then, and Superman comes and saves him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
how I know. That's my knowledge of Niagara Falls.
That's what you think.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey,
but I don't know if that was in the American side or the Canadian side.
Well, it's both.
What side is better to kill yourself?
Yeah, exactly. I think straight down the middle. Just follow that line straight down the middle.
Yeah, where's Superman not gonna fuck it up?
Yeah. Would you do it? Would you go over the falls in a barrel?
No, I don't.
Let's pose this to our guests.
I don't promote suicide.
Yeah. Let's say Elon Musk has designed the perfect barrel. And he's like, I think this is 99% safe. You can go over the falls. Are you in? Would you trust?
No, I don't. Because I used one of those fire guns that he has. They're wildly unsafe. It's like a flamethrower that he has.
Oh, he has one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, the Tesla's like self-driving ability. I feel like I don't trust Elon.
Yeah, those are very.
Yeah, it's been in a few. It's been a few.
Wait, so
accidents,
how did you use like the flamethrower? Like, how does that like?
I went on a date with this guy who like was friends with him.
Oh. And
then he had a bunch of them, and he was like, "You want to play?" He's like, "It's impossible for you to like get. It's for the fire to throw back on you." And I was like, "He's like," and we were drinking and like using a flamethrower, and I was like, "This is extremely dangerous." And it took one mild gust of wind, and it was like almost my hair was gone, and I was like, "I don't trust this."
Was this a first date?
Yeah.
Wow, that's big guns. Yeah. Calling it. Hey, Elon, I got this. We got a first time. I really want to impress this chick. I know you're not going to send me to outer space. What do you got? What do you got that's the second best thing?
When I was going on dates, the closest thing I was like getting flambe on a restaurant. Hey, that's a little fire.
Yeah. Hey, I just have a lighter and a candle. I'm like,
these guys bring in the guns, the big guns.
I didn't even know that Elon. I didn't know he did guns.
He has flamethrowers, and he was. This guy had a lot of. This guy
I
was
bet
terrifying.
he's like has like a bunch of like stuff that you're like. Like a kid, like a big kid that's like, hey, I got this for for the hell of it.
That's a good point. A whole bunch of like shitty startups.
He sold,
it's logged away. He's bought a whole bunch and just.
It's in the Boring Company. It was one of the things that he did. He just is like basically a child with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the show Succession, which I told you was really good on HBO.
Oh, I just started watching it last night, actually.
Oh, so you're not in the new.
I love spoilers, so.
Well, no, I mean, one of the characters right now in this new season is basically Elon Musk. And
yeah.
It's played by Skarsgård. I forget his name. Swedish guy. But he's like, he's a guy. He does it very well. He's like, like, tweets stuff because he's bored. He's like
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. Yeah. Okay. So he's like, but it's kind of like that guy. The guy that's so rich that's like just has like, does whatever he wants and tweets. And he's like, I don't care. He don't give a shit. So it's like, I could see Elon Musk just being that guy, so rich that he doesn't give a shit about anything.
Well, this guy was kind of like, he told me this story that he's like, was talking about this date he had went on. The last date he went on, he went parasailing. And which is a weird first date, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, first of all,
there's some great first dates.
I mean, those are great. Yeah,
I don't stand a chance. I don't have this move on the. Let's
like,
go shooting fire guns. What the fuck, man?
I wasn't on this date. It was another girl, and he pulls out a knife and cuts their line. and then they fly up, and then he said they're banned and trespassed from the parasailing company because of how dangerous it was. And the girl said, "I never want to talk to you again." He was like, she got so mad at me.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, you could have killed her. That's crazy.
Well, so this guy,
I pulled out a knife and cut our only safety line, and she got so mad at me.
So I'm realizing that this guy's good at planning dates. He sucks at the actual date. He's like, look, I got a flamethrower, I got a parasailing, but then he tries to fucking commit accidents. It's like, dude, it's like, you don't know how to fucking do this well, man.
At the end of the horrible date, he's like, 50-50.
What? It's parasailing. Yeah, you almost kill her. The fuck?
Can you grade me?
Yeah.
And,
I don't know why I always get first dates, never get second dates. Yeah, because most of them.
Fucking knife away, dude. Maybe that's got something to do with it.
You want to go to safari, and then it's like, here's the lion. And he's like, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun enough without cutting every aspect of
I mean, that's how you get the
away.
first dates, but after that, then nobody wants to.
Holy moly.
Commit, But that's crazy. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's the thing about like.
That's very cool. No girl's ever taken me on a first date to go shooting flame guns.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that either.
Same. I feel like the dates have gotten more boring since I started dating women. It's like been like a.
Did you give him a second date?
No.
No, he didn't.
He didn't get a second date
after the dangerous flambe incidents.
Yeah, I was like, he was also did these like he just had like too much money and did like these self-produced videos, and it was just like he wore like red leather jackets with studs all over it. He was just like kind of a cringy man.
It's like the guy from Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Right.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah,
that
like, character.
Fucking has got the little Asian boy walking around.
Yeah,
like I can just picture that. It's like, you just have nothing else to do, right? Like,
it's good to know that even with all the money in the world, like you still need to not be a douche.
And also, that doesn't. I mean, that's one of the cool things about the show Succession, because it's about a rich fucking family, but you can tell that they're not happy. I mean, it's like it shows you that like. All this shit, it doesn't matter how if you don't have like, it doesn't bring happiness, shit. You're still fucking miserable by the end of the day. If you're not, I mean, especially if you're trying to kill people in dates,
I just feel like rich people have really bad social skills because like people aren't honest with them or telling them no, so they just have like no frame of reference of like what is real life.
I feel like some of them like they never had any social friends growing up because they probably. I'm building this, whatever app, whatever, like, and they're like in their room for years, and finally they get rich, and now like they don't even know how to function because all their time they were
that's
stuck.
You know
interesting.
What I mean? Yeah, and they never had to be part of a team. Work with people, so they just did their own thing,
and then go out with people, and then like and then they think like flamethrowers, like
I know what will impress, dude. Just. Taking her, what was it called? What's it called? Sky surfing or whatever.
Go parasailing without the knife.
Parasailing, that's enough. Like, could you imagine him telling his friends, like, all right, so here's the idea for a date. We're gonna go parasailing, and this guy's friends should all go, stop there. That's you've cracked it. You've done it. Go parasailing. You go, no. You gotta hear the rest of it. No, we don't. And you don't need to do the rest of it. Just parasailing is good. But can I tell you about the bit with the knife? No. No knife stuff. No, not necessary. Just stick with part A.
In my experience, women don't like it when you pull knives out on first dates.
I mean, nobody. I don't want to even play thing. Like even like a sexy thing or whatever. No, not even like fake knives. No knives.
I don't think anybody.
Slap me a little bit. That's it.
I had a girl put a razor blade to my throat once.
A razor?
A razor blade.
Did you give her a second date?
No, I didn't. Almost did. But then I slept through it. It wasn't even like a purposeful, like, I'm not going to give you a second date.
Wait, you slept through it? Like, what do you mean? Like
I slept through the second date because it was a brunch. And I woke up. I had a show before, and I woke up, and I was like, oh, sorry.
You didn't go. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
But no, she had a razor blade to braids. And she like pulled it out while we were having sex and put it to my throat. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I am obsessed with this woman though. I was like, it's terrifying. I'm not gonna date this woman.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna think about her.
But that's
wow. That's
I mean, but also like
impressive.
Yeah, ballsy move. I mean,
ballsy move for that only a woman in the context that you just described could ever.
Yeah, if a guy does that,
you're on a list. Yeah, for sure.
You're like, what are you doing?
Guys, you'd never believe it. We're in the middle of having sex, and I went for my razor blade move, and she wasn't having it. Look, these are all the same group of friends.
Yeah, I think guys just don't do anything crazy.
All of a sudden, I'm bowling. I just want to be clear now. I think I'm doing okay with bowling. I'm gonna stick with
Even with sex, I don't know. I guess everybody has their own thing. I never liked
violence.
Yeah, I mean, or if somebody tells me like, hey, hit me or do that, I was like, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, makes me a bit uneasy.
I'm like, well, you got, I don't know, just not my thing, you know.
I completely agree.
Some people
and then if the other person stops everything and goes harder. All right, look, I'm doing my best. I'm pretty much at a level 9 right now. I don't.
You want me to bring the flamethrower?
Let me go get a knife. Here we go.
I just feel like there's already enough element of danger with women sleeping with men. I don't understand why they want to get hit.
Of course, I don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in, but hey. To each his own.
There it is. To each their own.
Well, I wanna. So you mentioned you're from Florida. That's where you were born, or you're born in Canada. You said, right?
My dad is from Canada.
Okay.
He's from Chatham. You know Chatham. It's
Ontario.
Real shithole.
Well, I'm not from the middle bit. I'm not from Ontario, but I recognized it right away. I recognized the name Chatham. I assume is it close to Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that. I know that one. Yes. So
not much going on there.
And then he moved to Florida to start a family?
To be a real estate agent. And he does real estate. But fuck it, he doesn't talk to him anymore. But
oh right, yeah, I forgot. That's right. Justin's your dad now.
Oh, now Justin's my dad. Yeah, I made one tweet and he called me and he's like, I don't want to be your dad anymore.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
Is that a real?
That's a real thing.
Sorry, who are we talking about?
My dad. No, not Justin.
Okay,
yeah.
Biological dad.
My biological father.
Wait, he saw a tweet that you did and he didn't want to.
He was like, I'm out.
Was the tweet about him?
Yeah, well, it was about my dog swallowed a bolt at Tosh.0 and it cost like $15,000 to repair.
A bone?
A bolt, from a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I called my dad and I was like, this is so crazy. I was just like telling him everything that was happening. And his first thing was, Madison, don't pay that. Just drop it off the pound. And I was joking that was a great metaphor of like how he is as a dad. Like one little inconvenience, he was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll get another one.
Yeah. Basically.
Right.
And
you tweeted that.
I tweeted it. And then he called me and said, I don't want to be your dad anymore. I'm like, you're proving the tweet right.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the tweet.
First of all, yeah, it's a couple.
Please tell me this wasn't a first strike. Like, were you guys already?
Well, also,
I don't know why we're asking.
Well, no.
It wasn't that it. Like, it was loving. Yeah, I had just seen him the week before. We were celebrating, and then I did one little tweet, and he's like, "I'm done. I'm out."
I mean, it's like loving, but like he's distant. Like I feel like he's like we're not like super. You're like not my best friend, but like there was no like animosity. But like also he did kick me out of the house one time because I spilled avocado on the floor. Like I was living with him temporarily, and I spilled a little bit of avocado when I was a child, and he was like, "She's out of here."
Your dad sounds bipolar or something.
Yeah. How old were you? Avocado.
I was like 12. He was like,
and you get what? No, well then, then I don't. Yeah, I think it's like then it's more of your dad's stuff then, because especially first of all, he knows that you're a comic. Yeah. You work in a show that's like Tosh.0. That's that's a comedy show.
Yeah.
Comedy Central. It's pretty wild, and then you're putting this tweet out. It's like there's a joke. It's a funny joke.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, he could even go like, look, I didn't like that joke. Next time, please let me know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But to go all that, it's a little
Seems
weird. Yeah.
Very reactionary.
Well, yeah. Man.
Overly. Sorry.
I was saying I doubled down, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna make more things about him now. And I did a Madison PI podcast. My mom wanted to see if he cheated on her during the course of their marriage, so I used a voice changer and pretended to buy a house. And I got him to admit to cheating on my mom when they were married. Wow, okay. So now it's like,
did you torment him all of his life?
No.
Were you just slowly sticking it into him all the time?
No, this awakened it. I was like, now I have to do something about this. I'm like, so I had to find out why he shaved his balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I call a flamethrower relationship. With But wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, with a father as well.
Yeah.
Guys, watch this. I'm just gonna stir up my dad for my entire life.
It's funny because it's like I feel like you gotta scratch all the boring questions that we have. And go,
I know.
I'm like, we're gonna.
You know what? Yeah, remember how we told you about our podcast a little while? Fuck that.
Fuck
that show.
We're gonna go from hey, I got in trouble. I fought with my dad in social media, and I admitted him that he cheated on my mom. By the way, so what was your first move in your comedy career? Like, all right.
Well, we'll be able to get into it slightly with the fact that he moves to Florida, starts a family. Did you have a big family, like in Florida?
I'm the only child.
You didn't allow anybody. I'm
not
not surprised. I'm somehow not surprised.
I'm surprised because I'm even like that's your only child. I mean, if you had like 10 other.
Then it's
siblings,
like, you can
like,
spare
fine.
a few.
It's like, well, yeah, like.
Oh, right. Then you're
like,
I'm not putting up with that one.
That's even, wow.
No, that tracks to me. Well, so if you were an only child in Florida, what was it like when you guys would travel as a young family, or did you do much traveling? That because we like to find out, like when people go on to become comedians or musicians, and basically artists who end up traveling, we like to find out if you were influenced by that when you were a kid. That sense of adventure or anything like that.
It didn't start when I was a kid. Like we went to Hawaii and we would go to like some of the beaches and Canada a couple of times. But when I was in college, I studied in London for like a year.
Oh,
and
cool.
like every weekend, I would go to 2 countries a week, which was really
fun.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
it's so cheap to like go from there.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Amsterdam. I think I went to Amsterdam like 8 times since I was there.
Right.
I loved it. So I feel like that's when I started like, I really like just like traveling all the time. I really do like just like living out of a suit. I know some people hate traveling. They hate touring.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do it more with 2 dogs, but I love it.
You have 2 dogs now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you still have the
You need to get
the dog
that private jet.
It survived, yeah.
It survived?
Yeah.
The nut ball?
The nut ball, yeah.
Okay. So what happened? They took it out?
Yeah.
They pooped it out?
They, no, they had to like do a thing. They had to like put it looked like a claw machine down it. And grab it.
Yeah.
Oh, like
claw
from
machine.
Dave and Buster's.
We're very
Yeah.
technical. Let's talk to our manager at home. If you want to put us up for a medical drama, this is how, Justin, this is how the technical speak. A throaty metal, what did you call it?
The claw machine.
Throaty metal claw machine. Stat.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's still alive. That's cool.
Yeah. And I think it's like, we don't really know because it was like a hoarding situation. I think it's like 8 now. Keeping alive for 8 years. I feel like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It,
and you have another one.
Yeah, the other one's named Martha.
Martha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got her to like be friends with the other one, but they hate each other. And I joke that I don't like Martha as much.
You joke, but it
I
sounded like it had an element of truth.
Yeah, I think.
We have a tattoo of Francis and not Martha, which I think is like.
Do you tease Martha with that?
I just say, hey.
And go, you're never gonna make the arm.
Wow.
You're not qualified.
Yeah, not even. I wouldn't even put her on my lower back. I feel like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that the worst part? To put
I don't know.
I don't know.
If anything, it's like a prime spot. I don't know. I feel like the lower back is it would be weird to have like a dog tramp stamp.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, because at that point you go like. I mean, I'd be having a lot of questions while doing it.
Like someone's going to ejaculate on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. That boy's like, I'm into dogs.
Or it awaken something in you, and then you would, and then you'd have to
You
deal
become
with
a furry.
You'd be like, great.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that you're like getting horny around dogs.
I came on your Chewbacca, and I don't know. I just want.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
It's awakened something in me. That's fucking horrible.
It'd be hard to look the dog in the eyes and knowing that you
you
stared at it while finishing.
Yeah, even having sex with my, have a dog and a cat. Even like I was like, get out of here. Like you gotta get out of the room. Or like,
do you? I'm curious. Do you close the door before, or does it stay?
No, I mean,
because it was spontaneous, and then
no,
the dog and cat
I
are there,
think he'll understand. Then they go like under the bed.
They go under the bed?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just don't want to
talk about running towards the danger.
No, because they're if you close the door, they're gonna cry or whatever. So it's like, but like, I just don't want to see them.
That would just turn me on more.
I don't want to be like, like I said, like having like orgasm and be like, and then I lock eyes with my dog. I mean, like, I don't want that.
Who's there like licking his crotch?
Yeah, he's like,
oh, no! You and me, buddy. You and me.
yeah. So I don't want that So I tried to be like, don't be here.
Oh,
In the bed. You know.
I had a situation like that. Now I have to crate them. Like the last guy I was ever with, like years ago, I was with we were having sex and my dog came up and started licking his asshole.
Yeah, that's happened.
To you, it's happened?
Yeah.
Wait, it happened to you?
I've had an animal in that. Yeah, that I didn't know was around. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because I could see her hands. I could see her hands, and all of a sudden I felt something. I was like, what are you doing? I turned around. There's just this fucking like a boxer action mix. I'm like, holy fuck.
Wait, so what happened? Did you move or did you keep going?
I stopped. It wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't. It was fucking weird. What's even weird is that she was okay with it. She was like, "Oh yeah, it's Rex," and I was like,
"Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, Rex loves that.
He was licking my thigh. Oh, he likes thighs. It was the weirdest. It wasn't a turn on. But carry on.
So the guy was. So your dog was. They're not with the one with the nuts.
What? Yeah.
The one with the bolt.
With the balls?
With the bolt.
With the bolt. Oh no, different dog. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a different dog.
Different dog. It was Martha. She
Martha.
starts licking his asshole, and he starts yelling my dog's name, and I'm like, why is he calling me my dog's name? And then I've realized everything that happened afterwards, and I have cameras in my apartment to watch my dogs when I'm out of the apartment, so I got it all on camera. And then I didn't tell him I was filming because I like forgot, and I was like, hey, afterwards I was like, hey, just so you know, I have my security cameras on. I don't have to look at them, but it is on camera. Do you want to see it? And he was like, of course. So I sent him the video of it. I'm like, here's the footage.
Did Martha?
So why was he? So he was yelling like Martha, Martha.
Yeah, and the
stop?
dogs.
It wasn't throes of passion. It was like,
That's
what I was confused about. I was like, why is he thinking about my dog right now? Like, what is happening?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the security camera footage, was Martha approaching timidly? Or was she straight in? She's like, this is a smorgasbord, new to me.
She was aggressive. She's a slut.
Wow. It was a full-on lick.
It was she went full into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, we uncover the great. We're changing the world. I said we were gonna change the world.
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah, you see, and that's why I don't want dogs in the bed.
Yeah,
I know.
it's a
That's
nightmare.
why I would lock the doors.
No, because I don't know how you don't even feel it. The dog coming up in the bed.
No, I didn't even hear it or anything. It just happened. All of a sudden it happened.
But wait. So I just want to know. It's like, what's the position? Were you like not looking?
Well, no, I'm looking. We were missionary.
Okay, and you're up or down?
I was on
top.
I'm over. I was like trying to picture how she
I think up and top or bottom.
You piecing it together, yeah?
I'm trying to figure out that.
And it took me a second to realize that her hands were there. Like I could see her hands. And I thought it was a hand thing.
So she was on top.
No, I was on top.
Oh, so you couldn't. Okay, so the dog came from behind.
Well, I think the dog came from like the side.
Do you have any security footage that we could review?
Yeah. I know. Well, now that I just have to. I mean, it was like 12 or 14 years ago, but I'll get straight on it after the show and say,
12, 14 years ago. That's gonna be grainy footage.
I'd probably get a hold of her and she'd be like, "Oh, it happens all the time." Like, I don't want to. Put me in touch with the other men. I want to hear about how your dog approaches them.
At least it was just a thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
So really creepy when it's not what you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So
it's good to know how many people are in the bedroom while
exactly. Well,
animals.
I used to have a cat that was a bit psycho in university, and I guess that's why I'm asking both of you, because I got to lock in the door if he was around, because I know that he'd be swinging at things, if he could, and he was quick. He was in, like, he'd come from 10 feet away, come in, quick swipe at the balls, and then out of there. So I got quite used to going, all right, this all has to happen without him anywhere. Yeah. My cat murdered somebody or murdered a cat. Sorry.
I was like, what?
Sorry. My cat murdered another. We were drinking on our balcony. This is how psycho my college cat was. Shout out to Schooner, long since dead. But I don't know. He might still be alive in the mountains somewhere. But we were on the balcony once drinking a beer, and Schooner was down on the ground. We're 2 stories up, just watching him. He's just hanging out. You know, it was Nova Scotia, so we were less worried about having a cat out in the wild. It's not like California. And then there's another cat, and Schooner chased the cat. We just watched as Schooner chased this cat into traffic, and the cat got hit by a car. And I've never seen a less emotional animal, like, in the entire spectrum, because Schooner just chases this cat into a car. Cat's dead. And then Schooner just walked away. Just casually
like nothing, like
walked away. And we're drinking on my balcony. Everybody's like, that was your cat. I was like, holy fuck.
Well, cats are like that.
They're assholes.
Yeah, they're assholes. I mean, man or female, I think they're all both. They just think they're better than you.
I think
Unlike dogs, which are the opposite. They like
so.
you a lot. You know.
Dogs just want to please you.
Yeah.
Welcome to our pets conversation.
Sorry. Yeah. So I want to go back. So you started so when did you move? When did you start doing comedy? Did you start doing it in Florida?
Yeah, I was in Tallahassee. I was dating a guy who wanted to be a stand-up comic. And
he doesn't.
Oh, I love these stories. I love it when this happens. When it's a dating thing, but the person who really wants it is shit, and the other person going, "Oh, is that
I'm
what
better
you
than
wanted
this
to do?
shit."
I can do that." Oh, and I'm
Is
gonna
that what
enjoy
happened?
This. Like this.
yeah, he was like,
Yeah, he sucked.
he was like, and I told him, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I feel like why do you want to be a stand-up comic? Like, I thought it was like a bad idea, and I was like financially, I couldn't see it.
Right.
And I was like, you can make money off that? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and I've been writing jokes since I was like 12. Like
Oh, you were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I love jokes. I was obsessed with stand-up, but I just never saw it as like a thing I could do because I just didn't think. I guess my dad like drilled in my head about like practicality and like
you gotta
you
gotta be
is it a
secure,
realistic
roll
thing
jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And don't drop the avocado on the floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you major? Did you major in something or did you study something?
Yeah, I had 2 degrees. I was political science, and then I had an English degree. And at the time, I was working at the Capitol.
In D.C.?
Right.
No, of Tallahassee, the Florida
okay.
Capitol.
Oh, okay, nice.
Actually for a Republican. So,
you know.
and yeah, she was wild. She like wouldn't. She like for the interview, the only question she cared about is if I'd ever drank, and I was like briefed to tell her no. So
That's all she cared about?
Yeah, she's like, okay, good.
Wow. Why is that?
Hates alcohol. Very evangelical.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's a sin.
Yeah.
The Lord.
Oh, really?
What about wine in the church? Okay.
I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know.
No, I don't know.
I'm not religious. I mean, we've talked.
No, I'm just assuming that's
Some
probably
people
what
can
it
be
was.
kinda
Like, because it's like,
yeah.
bring, the whole evil sins, whatever,
Right.
But,
Yeah.
no, but yeah. So you were working there, and then you were dating this guy, and then you
Yeah.
started doing stand-up?
I was in college. We had a writing class together. He was saying he wanted to do stand-up. We started dating. I showed him like jokes, and we like kind of like working on bits together. It just became like this thing. And he went to Toronto and like did some of the bits we worked on and stuff we had talked about. And he called me from there. I was like, hey, the jokes went amazing. Just so you know.
The one that you helped him with.
Yeah.
The ones that you wrote.
Yeah.
You wrote.
And like a concept that I had fully fleshed out. He's like, they
Yeah.
killed. And he thought I'd be like excited to hear that. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, all right, I wish you would have asked me before doing that.
Oh, he didn't ask
Oh,
you.
it wasn't.
No.
I thought he told you.
I thought you were working.
Yeah, I
with
thought
him on it.
you were helping him, and then.
It was kind of, some stuff was off limits and some stuff was like, yeah, we were kind of workshopping it. So it's like this weird gray area.
Right.
And then he goes over there and he says he got offered a door job. And he's going to move to Canada. And he's going to like, and he like, the
Wow.
manager has a spare bedroom and he wants him to live there. And he was like calling me and basically saying he's going to break up with me and that my jokes killed and all this stuff. And it turns out the manager was just like coked out of his mind the way some
I
comedy
got-
club managers are.
Madison, I've got some good news and some bad news. Good news is your jokes kill. The bad news is I'm out of here with your jokes. See you later.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Well, that worked out all right for you then.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
at least you
Yeah.
went after that. You were like, well, I can actually write better
Yeah.
jokes than this guy.
And that was my biggest fear. I think it was like I didn't know if I was funny or capable of being funny because I was always told that like, oh, people laugh at you because they want to fuck you. And I guess I'd internalized that and I didn't know if that was true.
Mhm.
And then I realized I didn't know if I would actually be funny
Yeah.
on stage.
Mhm.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
think
because it's hard for everybody to be funny. Because I dealt with
Yeah,
that too.
that's
'cause
often
I'm-
the number
I'm
one
No,
criticism.
it is funny
Me.
because I did deal with it in the beginning here at the Comedy Store because people were like, "Oh, you're too good looking to be doing stand up."
Right.
I'm not saying like I'm a model, but I'm
Yeah.
better looking than JJ. you know,
Yeah.
So like,
I am just good looking enough to be a stand-up for a stand-up. Oh,
but I get that because also it's like sometimes you're going like, yeah, I want to be just funny. You know what I mean? And I understand what you're going through because it's like, I'm funny. It doesn't matter. What I look
and when you read criticisms from like I don't know, cheap or weaker critics and stuff, that's what they love to drill down on.
Yeah, it's insecurity because they go like, oh, this person's actually funny, but I don't like it because it's insecurity because it goes to like, wait, she's good looking and she's funny, then it's like, whoa, you're having too much, you know what I mean? It's like, no, you can't,
We better take her down.
Yeah. So.
That's why it was good to have my unfuckable ex run the jokes, and he's like, people laughed. I'm like, well, I guess they must be funny.
Because he was
a fucking
perfect. So you're a good-looking woman, a good-looking woman with ugly woman's jokes.
I'm actually picturing the guy from the Goonies. So, you remember the guy from the Goonies?
Yeah.
The chocolate guy. What's his name?
Chunk.
Oh
Chunk?
yeah.
Like that's his size. He's Chunk. He's killing with the good jokes. He's like, well. If it's killing So then you started doing stand-up after this, or?
Yeah, I did like my first open mic, and it was in Tallahassee, and it went really well, and it was like because I was like really planned out, like I feel like I'd been planning my whole life for it. The second one didn't go as
as usual,
it's always good. You always have to have your rough.
But to me, that's always a good sign when the first one goes, because you're like. That means you got something. The second one is because now you have expectations, and you're trying to live to those expectations, and it's never gonna be.
Yeah, the first one's the important one, isn't it? That's the one where you'll quit if it sucks. You're like everything I've dreamt about my whole life.
Yeah,
can I do it? So finding out you can do it is great, and then the second one is when you find out, it's gonna take some
hard.
work.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder than I thought.
It's a craft that you gotta build.
Yeah.
Like how long did you do it in Florida for them to then move to the big leagues, LA or New York?
I'm trying to think. I think it was 4 months in Tallahassee, and I was starting my own shows, and I was like really hit the ground. Yeah, but it's a small scene, so it's like.
Yeah, you did it very quickly,
4 months in, you got your own shows around town.
Well, Tallahassee, it's just like little like oyster shacks and stuff,
all right. Well, I think that's still pretty impressive.
And it was. Then I went to London, and I kicked myself this day. I didn't do any open mics. I didn't do comedy out there.
Oh, you didn't do anything. So why'd you go to London?
Where were you in London again? What?
You know where? So FSU just has a campus out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know where the Tottenham Court Station is? And like
and
like British Museum. I was like in between.
Okay. Because I remember there's some great stand-up gigs at the colleges around London and stuff. I remember like
I've
the
heard
LSE,
it's amazing.
the London School of Economics used to have an amazing gig and stuff. So so I'm surprised you didn't get to continue the bug.
Yeah, and it would have been great to do it over there, because it's such a different. I mean, I haven't been there, but just talking to Jay, it's a different scene, and like. I think you also get better as a comic there, right?
I would have.
The audiences are very smart, and
Audiences are smart. There's lots of stages to get on and stuff, and plus the English are miserable, so that helps too. They're miserable. The weather is shit, so it drives everybody indoors, and they all get into
So you went to London, and then you stayed there for a semester.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just like traveled every week. I tried to go to somewhere different, and it was just like a really fun time in my life. I feel like because I was just like constantly flying around and seeing things, and I was traveling alone, which is like when I start. Now I love to travel alone.
Yeah.
But
you got used to traveling alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that helps as like a comic because I think people
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you start the only time is when you're really big that you can bring people, your friends, but most of the times we're traveling by ourselves.
Well, that's another thing that we like to ask our guests because when we talk about like the move to the big city or the place that has a comedy club, like I'm assuming it's LA. Was it LA that you moved to eventually?
Yeah, for the soup. I got an internship there.
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
With
that's
Joe
great.
with Joe McHugh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Because that's just it. So your independence is really valuable in that context because a lot of comedians when we start out, like I lived in Edinburgh and I moved to London and I had to do it with other comedians because you get that little safety bubble, and then slowly a couple of the other comics like moved back to Scotland. They didn't want London as bad, and then I was on my own. Then I had my independence, and I think a lot of people do that. They can start out in a comedy troupe or they.
No, I did it by myself too.
Right.
Yeah. I moved to LA by myself and just started by myself. But yeah, I think it works either way.
Did you start comedy out here?
Yeah, I grew up in DC and I did like one open mic in DC. I took an improv class in DC and actually moved to LA to keep doing improv. I did the groundless and stuff like that. And then after that, then I realized I like more stand up, and then that's what. But I did it by myself. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything, so it was like more of like But I did wanted to move here because that's where like it was either here or New York, and I used to live in DC, and I was like, it's too close. I know I can go back to DC, or, So I was like, let me go to LA, and I did it. So then you moved to LA to do the internship, and then you kind of stay here.
Yeah, it was the last season of The Soup, so people are joking that I'm like,
that you're
cursed. Yeah.
But also, you got in under the wire, like to have an opportunity like that to come as an excuse. Can I just ask, how do you land an internship with The Soup? Because I bet you there's probably young aspiring comics who are like, how does that work? How do you find an internship with it?
This is actually a very weird story. We won a.
I mean, I think.
There's a lot of competition
any less
in today's broadcast alone. This is really weird.
I'd be surprised if it's like very normal. Like, I just made it on a website.
I'll see your dog ass licking story, and it's about to get weird now.
When I was 12, we submitted for this like contest to be like on a dog date with Lou, the Chihuahua in the show. And like our Chihuahua and their Chihuahua went to the chateau, and we get to see a taping. And I was like 12, and it was my favorite show, and I was like so excited to meet him. And we like got to meet everyone who like runs the show and stuff, and it was cool. And my mom she stayed in contact with this guy Ed, who was the EP. And then I was looking for internships, and I was like, hey, could you ask him if like they're looking for interns? And she's like, yeah, she could submit to this email. And then so he put me in contact with the guy who hires all the interns, and they sent me, it's a very archaic process, a bunch of DVDs of like old TV shows, and you had to like find clips and write jokes about it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
okay.
Like old Degrassi and things like that.
Yeah,
and then,
that's cool. So I mean, so you actually, that's where your jokes skills came into.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like
it wasn't a lottery shot.
It wasn't like you did it. You actually had to prove that you did it. Because that's a cool thing. It was an intern to actually work on the show. Because usually sometimes you get hired to be like an intern,
to be like
getting coffee and shit, But you actually were writing jokes.
It was cool. Yeah, we got to like watch because there's so much TV you have to watch for that show, and they have a really small a small crew. So. Everyone had to like contribute and watch and like try to find clips, and I got a lot of stuff on the show. It was fun, and I met this guy Essay, who's like really cool.
Right.
He was the other intern, and so it was like.
And it was cool.
He was cool.
He was cool. No fucking flamethrower guns or razor blades out of nowhere.
It was awesome.
Still decided to go with women, but
at least there's good men out there.
Thank you. What's his name again? I forgot. Essay. Thanks, Essay.
He's a good man.
Thanks for covering your gender's ass.
I was gonna be like, fuck, at least have one good man in her life. God damn it. That's cool. So that actually helped you then, obviously, now to work with Tosh as well. Yeah. Because you had that writing skills already, and with the Soup, and that's how you then while you were here, that's when you started doing like stand up more. Yeah. While you were working on the show.
And I like kind of tried to it was really hard to break into. That's why I always like respect people who start here, because I feel like it's a really hard place to start and get people to know you, or like because no one respects you when they don't recognize you. They're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. No, it's very hard. I mean, luckily I got to work here at the Comedy Store.
I moved here. 17 years into my
That's what I was wondering.
career.
You're like accomplished comedian. And people are still.
And I'm still fun of. And people don't recognize you, so they kind of treat you a bit shitty. It's weird. It is a weird thing to go, okay, fine. One time when I first showed up here, there was one incident that happened. I was out having a cigarette. This is when I first moved here 5 years ago. Having a cigarette. It was Echoes Under Sunset.
Yeah, that's the first place I performed in LA.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. I think maybe that's one of the first ones you get. Yeah. So doing Echoes Under the Sunset.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's still a gig.
I think they closed down, yeah.
But there was a group of comedians, and I'm out having a cigarette, and then this group, and then one of them, they asked me for a cigarette. I gave them cigarettes, and then they were talking about earthquakes, and I was like, I was just in New Zealand. There was a big earthquake there, just trying to chat, because we're all on this show. And they're kind of like, whatever, man, while smoking my cigarettes. And I thought, that's weird. And so then I ended up just smoking on my own. And then when I went to go back into the building, I had to, because the Echoes Under Sunset is right by the road. It's right by, like, a busy road. Yeah. So I kind of had to brush by them. And when I brushed by this guy, he went, "Don't touch me!" And they did a big thing. And like, "We don't know who the fuck you are." And I was like, holy shit, dude. You just had a cigarette with me. I mean, everything's going to be fine. No panic. But that's what made me go, oh, this place is very kind of cliquey and mean. So it can take a while to, climb
to
up
meet
to
the
these
right
new...
people that are not mean and not fake and stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe managed by the same person. Maybe that's...
Well, that's one of the reasons I met Justin was because, Justin, JJ, because you were performing at some show, and he's like, hey, this guy's new here, you want to... Yeah. So I went to go see him, and I was gonna
send him to test me.
Well, no, it wasn't for me. It was more for me because I was like, I wanted to see because if he was funny, then I was gonna hang out with him. If not, and I tell him that I was like, I saw him, and I was like, oh, okay, he's good. Because if not, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna be hanging out with you.
Good call, Justin.
Yeah. So I want to go back quickly to when you were in London, you were traveling, and you went. One of your favorite places was Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, I was obsessed with it.
Is there? Obviously, you probably have a lot of. Is there something in particular why you like that Amsterdam? And if there's a crazy story that you have,
because I discovered mushrooms there, and it was by mistake.
I was gonna guess mushrooms, but
why do you mean by mistake?
So this girl who had went there like a week before was like, hey, she's like, she had never smoked or anything. She's like, you have to try the space cakes and you try the truffles. And in her mind, she thought truffles were like Godiva, like weed things. And they're like how they do mushrooms, because I guess it's like the legal way of having them. And I went to one of the cafes, and I was like, I'll get truffles. And they said, oh, we don't sell those here. You have to go to a Smart Shop. There's one down the street. And I went there and I looked at them like, these don't look like chocolate. They look like walnuts. And they had and it was all like in Dutch, and it had like a dragon on it.
Philosopher's stones.
Yeah.
The little one, they look like little poops.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are called philosopher's stones.
Oh, really?
So that's actually mushrooms, but they sell them.
They're mushrooms, yeah.
But they sell them like normal?
Yeah, they're in kind of like plasticky... Not Tupperware, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Plastic casings.
Well, you can just go in any supermarket.
Yeah.
Well, they were called Smart Shops, and they sell them there. They're just like, yeah.
Comes in a package like broccolini.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Basically. Yeah, that's kind of what they look like. And then there's the different types, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's like not warning labels on it or anything. It's like, hey, this is going to make you see
This
God.
Wow. And then you had those?
I just ate all of them. And
all of them? I ate all? All right.
Wow.
And I was just going around the city, and I went to try boba tea, and then I tried boba tea. It hit me, and I was like trying boba tea for like an hour. I was just like trying all the different bobas, and I went and just watched the ducks for like I was just like looking at ducks and laughing for like another hour.
That works.
Yeah. I'm like, this is fun.
Time flies.
Yeah. Well, I that's actually more. I guess not as crazy as I thought. I was gonna.
Did you know that
you're gonna? So like, I went to this underground.
Yeah, you do just sit there giggling.
Yeah,
forever.
I think with like
and everybody knows what you're up to. I mean, it's Amsterdam, so they're like, yeah, we know why that person's giggling.
Well, that's cool. I like.
You know that they legalized it in Britain for
really?
2 years. Yeah, I don't remember the years, but I'm gonna guess 2002 to 4, maybe 3 to 5, but. And then they took them away because the British couldn't. There's something about the Dutch that they're like, yes, we have all of the drugs, we do all of the activities because we're responsible. We have prostitution, we have have a good time, enjoy life. And then for that 2-year window, the British went, oh, we can do this shit, we can go. And the government had just after 2, if it was even 2 years, maybe after the first year, the government went, all right,
crazy.
We're taking this away. You're all too mental. Yeah,
okay.
The English were like climbing tents at festivals and just doing
too much.
Doing a little insane, like probably climbing their own buildings.
They weren't watching ducks and eating boba. Like responsible. Dutch people.
So the government had to go. All right,
we have to.
No more of that. You guys can go do that in Holland. That'll be better.
That's right. I just want to see. All right, we're here. Yeah, I think we're almost. In our
because we don't have our sidekick.
We don't have a guy, so I was keeping time.
We have so many more questions. Then.
I know,
well,
but I think quickly one little thing, because obviously you lived in outside the U.S. and also like travel. Like, is there one thing that you would a custom or a tradition that you would like to to bring it to the U.S. so that people would
Mushrooms.
do it here?
Mushrooms.
Yeah, mushroom would be one. But is there something else that you're like, oh, I wish they would do it here?
You know what I would have said 2 years ago, and now I guess it's happening. Is that when I was in Japan, I was like, I like this mask thing. And now it's like, because I like when people are. I think it's like really courteous. And when you're sick, you wear a mask.
I like it.
And I did it at Tosh, and everyone acted like I was a weirdo for wearing a mask. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a cold. I don't want to get other people sick. I feel like that's courteous.
Yeah,
That's the thing too. Of like since we've been wearing masks and even in the travel,
been
like,
less
like we
colds.
just did
Yeah.
Buffalo
Less
and
people
like I said, just doing Buffalo, Philadelphia, and another place last weekend. I'm like, I'm never getting sick anymore. I'm always feeling
especially when
so,
traveling. I think it's like I'm gonna keep wearing them when I travel for sure. You know, even if after this thing over, you know, in the planes, you know, especially when you go to sleep. You know, you don't know if people are coughing right in you, you know, like while you're sleeping. So just keep in mind.
it's all shared air.
Yeah,
as well. So like circulation.
That's cool. I like
so-
that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I saw a homeless guy the other day with his mouth open. He was asleep with his mouth open. My first thought was, I want to drop raisins in there. And I was like, now I think about when I was on a plane. That my mouth is open. What if someone puts
I know.
raisins
That's what I
in
mean.
there?
That's why I have the mask. But
That's
why?
it. It protects you from that, from spontaneous raisins. You never know.
But I'm
when-
yeah. Why raisins? Why not
Why is that where you?
Or
mine
almonds?
went. Couldn't it be
Yeah.
just anything?
Grapes.
A philosopher's stone.
I want to drop raisins in his mouth. He's so cute.
Do you carry around raisins ready?
Yeah. Why
drop
raisins?
it in the homeless.
Watch out for Madison Sinclair, everybody. She's got
Drop some
raisins on
raisins.
her, so don't fall asleep with your mouth open. Well, I'm dying to know, since you're a hardcore road working comic as well as a great writer of comedy, when you're on the road gigging, and I know you've seen like these gorgeous countries in Europe and stuff, but how do you prefer to kill the day? What's your first instinct? Like, say you're arriving in a city at 10 in the morning, you know, you check into the hotel, show's not till 8. What do you like to do to kill the time when you're in the city?
A pastime or something.
I'll get good food. Like I like if there's sushi in the area or something like that. Like depending on where I'm at, I'll try to get whatever food is good in the area. But I also just like to like rework on my because it's like the pressure of the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like I write more before the show when I have like a gun to my head. Than when I'm just like have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
So I try to use. I see people like going to theme parks and like doing fun stuff. I'm like, I'm too stressed
I don't.
out.
I'm the same way. I'm like when it comes to like doing shows on the road, I can't. Like I gotta have my time in the hotel to prepare mentally.
Yeah.
You know. Work on some bits. You know. But like, if I'm doing something, it's because I either have a day, a off day or something like that. But like, I cannot be like, I'm gonna go. Yeah, to a theme park for 8 hours and then I'm like, gotta perform. Like,
I gotta admit to you guys too, like you already know this, of course, but one of my favorite things is when I get food when I get into town and I take it back to the hotel. I like the food back at the hotel, which I don't think you like as much, do you? But
I don't mind that. I mean, no, I don't. No, now
it happened. It happened to me this weekend though.
What?
It was when we were in Philadelphia, and we were so tired. It was a late night in Buffalo. We're in Philadelphia. And Forrest, working with Forshaw and Jim Jeffries, and so Jim's exhausted, so he's going straight to his room. And I asked the concierge, I'm like, where's the closest Philly cheesesteak place? And he's like, oh, the famous one is downtown 14 blocks. I'm like, I don't want 14 blocks. I just want to get a sandwich and go up to my bed and lie in bed and eat my sandwich and have a sleep. And then Forrest calls me when I'm out of the hotel and I'm about 100 meters from the sandwich place, and Forrest is like, wait for me, I want to get one too. And right away I was like, oh no, my alone time fun is gonna be ruined. But I love hanging out with Forrest. But sure enough, we got the sandwich and I kind of sat there together. And then we got to eat it together. And I'm like, so I ate a little bit and then I saved it. He's like, you're not. Forrest was literally saying, you're not gonna eat the whole thing. I was like, no, I want to. Well, this is a time and a place for my food. I don't know, like because I'll eat it in the hotel room. You said you eat at that little corner desk.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, I don't like. Well, I don't like eating stuff in the bed. Like,
okay.
Like I'm sleeping there. Like I don't want shit in my bed.
I like it because it's not my bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's the time I get to do it.
True.
Yeah.
But
bed picnic.
I just don't. Yeah. Then I feel like I don't like sharing within. I don't know. That's just me. But like. But I do like the thing of like, I wanna when you're done, like after you're done, like even when I was in Corpus Christi after 2 shows of 2 hours, shows and stuff like that, like I just wanna like go to a hotel and just that's it. Don't talk to anybody. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like people like, hey, you want to do this? You want to? I'm like, no, I don't want to get a drink right now. I don't want to do it. I just want to go to the hotel. I'm exhausted, and that's it. So that's one I understand doing that of like I want my alone time. You know,
I like it almost too much. Like it's gotten awkward sometimes.
Well,
even when it's after a show too. When it's after a show and you're hanging out with comics and say you're drinking and everything, and then when I get that last little bit of takeaway. There's a destination. Yeah. There's a destination I have in mind. And then often I'll be with somebody. It's usually 50-50 probably, but you're with another
I've got
comic
into the
and then they sit down and you got to sit and eat with them. You're like,
I got into one is like when I got like if I get an edible or something and then I'm like and then I'm going into I remember I think at this lobby, I don't forget what hotel it was. I was going to a lobby and I'm like I think I got like some chips or something and then I ate it and then came back down and bought another like Cheetos. And then you could tell the guy's like he's looking at me like this guy is so fucking high. And I'm like pretending not to be high, which is the worst, you know. So it's like, but I like that because I'm like enjoying it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's people don't understand. I don't think that when we do stand up, especially when we do longer sets and stuff like that, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? It's like physically and mentally, and like you know, to party afterwards or to do something like the next day or something. It's like I don't like it. I know it's like I mean for me it's like. Especially when you're doing headliner gigs, it's like you gotta like people are you're the main guy or the main person, so it's like you don't wanna fuck it up, you know. So
it is weird without our producer Brian. Shout out to Brian at home. Healing, is that the word? Recovering, well, whatever the word is.
He was feeling.
Brian. He was feeling a little bit. Yeah.
So we told him to stay home.
So it is weird without him.
COVID?
I told him to get a test. Yeah. I don't think he says like, nah, I don't know. I was like, don't come.
I know two people who are like, I don't think I have COVID. It's I just have a little bit of a head cold, and I'm like, just get a test.
Just get a test.
And then they were positive.
Of course.
And I'm like, and they wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
That's why I told him. I was like, nope, don't come.
Yeah.
Just chill. Just get your test and then. Yeah. But this was great. I mean, we really we didn't finish some of the questions, but it was more interesting what you were.
It was lots of fun.
For sure.
Thanks for being
It was
awesome.
great because we didn't have to. Sometimes we have to kind of like, you brought up all the topics, so we were like, oh, this is even better.
Was it awkward last week with Lisa Curry? You'd ask her about dogs eating ass, and she was like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, we tried.
You tried to.
We always.
Well, she did mention that about blowjobs about a roommate, right?
Okay.
So it was.
It did get there,
but it wasn't.
It wasn't as saucy.
Yeah.
It wasn't as saucy as.
I mean, you came in strong. You came in with all that. I was like, oh. I was like Neo on the Matrix. I was like, you were shooting like razors. This guy picked me up, my dad. And I'm like,
beating me.
I'm like, so, what
do you like suitcases?
Window or aisle? What do you prefer?
But so where people can find you in the social media world?
Guys, do look up Madison. She is funny as fuck.
As you can, you'll hear and see.
On Instagram, Madison Sinclair, and my TikTok's at Madison Comedy because they didn't have Madison Sinclair on TikTok.
Yeah, like me, I have F. Ramos Comedy.
You're like,
Mrs.
I don't even know what I have on TikTok. It just.
What do you do in TikTok? Are you doing like what do you put?
One-liners.
Okay.
Which is nice.
What do you mean?
So I do I start up a joke and then I have like this sound in the back that's like this dramatic music, and I have like a light change.
Oh,
and it's
cool.
like a cool vehicle just to do.
Just to do the twist. That's right. I really like
smart.
that.
I mean, that's your bread and butter, like so. Because for me, I just put like little clips of my stand-up, like little quick stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually cool, because I'm always, that's something I realized, and I think you realize it too. Is like with TikTok, it's like when it started, I was like, I don't want to be dancing. I mean, I'm too old for this shit. It feels weird like doing all these things, But like, so I just started putting clips of my stand-up and then sketches that I like to write or whatever, and that's it, and it's working. So I wanted to ask like what you do. So that's kind of a cool idea too.
Yeah, they're really fun. Those the whatever you call them,
I'm gonna
vignettes
follow
or
you.
whatever.
I'm gonna follow you.
Well, that's fantastic.
In any shows that you're coming up or something that people can see you live or that
When is my next show? I just totally blanked. You should watch Madison PI, the podcast, and hear about how my dad cheated on my mom and shaved his balls.
Wow.
So.
Wow, are those two things
they're combined?
connected?
Because you shave your balls. She wanted to know why he shaved his balls random and like didn't say anything about it.
Crabs.
No, it was for another woman. And so because I feel like
he just shut up and shaved it. Yeah, that's obviously like
it's like weird, right?
At first it was weird, and also like bad move. Like, what do you like? You cannot just be like all of a sudden like have your hairy balls or something like. Oh yeah, I just yeah, it's very suspicious.
You should have an excuse in mind. Actually, if you must know that your wife's gonna ask, why have you shaved your balls?
If I go and like
at least go, I thought I'd try something new. Or
like if I show with my fiance and be like, hey, I'm fully porn clean. I don't know how to
porn clean.
Like you see porn, they never have any hair. So I'm like. It'd be weird, but like, hey, what are you doing?
You have to like show. You have to like be like, hey, look, I did this for you.
I did this for you, or I'm having a colonoscopy.
Yeah, or not like, hey, I'm gonna hit the road for a couple days. Don't be.
I'm going to Vegas. Why are you completely shaved? Why do you have a what is it called with the asshole thing?
Why'd you bleach your asshole?
Bleach your asshole. I don't even know.
Just for fun. It has nothing to do with another woman.
It's nothing to do with me in a week in Vegas.
Dude, where's your dog?
Stanley? That's my dog.
Madison, you've been amazing. We have one final question that we always ask our guests before they leave, and that is, do you have a favorite piece of travel advice that you love to give to people?
If someone next to you on the flight is like, like when there's someone in the middle seat and they're like coughing or they're gross or you just don't like the person sitting next to you, you can tell the stewardess that they threatened to kill the pilot and they will get kicked off the plane.
And they will kick off the plane.
That's you just anyone you don't like on the plane, just say that they said they're going to kill the pilot.
Wait, so have you done this?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I thought about it. I was like, oh, this guy says he's going to kill the pilot.
Yeah, no.
And then
the guy's like, I got bad throat. Like, what? Sorry. It's like,
have you met Glenn Wool? There's a Canadian comedian he talks about how when he wants space, he asks them to sit the children next to him. And then everybody clears away.
That's funny.
He's got the whole flight to himself.
Have him in.
We'll leave, man. Yeah. So
fun.
Very good. Great advice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, if somebody uses it, please let us know.
Please let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I want to see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Madison Sinclair. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And as always, subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes.
Click on the things.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, Lou.